Today, we are joined by Dr. Sam Simon, a licensed clinical mental health counselor, nationally certified counselor, and the clinic director at LA Mental Health in Raleigh, North Carolina. Dr. Sam specializes in working with the LGBTQ plus community, especially gender expansive folks, and supports clients through identity exploration, anxiety, depression, life transitions, and relationship challenges. Dr. Sam works with people ages 16 and up using a person centered, intersectional, and holistic approach that blends CBT, DBT, somatic work, and solution focused strategies. Dr. Sam is a queer and trans inclusive, trauma informed, culturally sensitive clinician who honors the full complex identities of every person she works with. Today, she's joining us to talk about how to care for and support your LGBTQ plus kid in today's political climate. A timely and very important conversation we are so grateful to have. Thank you for being with us today, Dr. Sam.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to talk with you guys.
Dr. Sam, when a child comes out, whether it's about their sexual orientation, their gender identity, or both, it can be a big moment for them as well as the parent. What are some helpful first steps that parents can take in that moment to show love and support and openness, even if they feel surprised or unsure about what to say?
Yeah, it's a great question. And I think first and foremost, to thank your kiddo for feeling that you are safe enough to share themselves with you. This is a big one. And so I think parents, if your kiddo is coming to you and sharing this piece of themselves, it's very vulnerable to do. And that shows hopefully that you've created a safe space to do that. So thanking them for doing that is a pretty big one, as well as asking them how they want to be supported. So we can guess, I think we can go into our parent mode and be like, okay, I'm going to armor up and I'm going to do this. I'm going to support them in this way. And we might not actually know the best way that they want to be supported. And so that might be, hey, kiddo, like, I appreciate you sharing that with me. I'm always here for you. And what are ways that I can support you? If they know, they know, and sometimes they might know, but it might be something like, yeah, can you actually talk to Uncle Pete? Because he said some things that make me uncomfy, and you get to be that advocate.
Does it matter what age they are? Does it shift if they are younger versus older?
For sure. I think it shifts if they're, younger, as in they might not really have an understanding of what they may need. And so we do go into more of a protective bubble and we say, okay, like, you might not know what you need, but if anything ever feels uncomfy to you, or if you ever need my support, or if you ever feel like anxious around certain people and kind of explain those emotions, let me know and we can figure it out together. It's okay for you both to kind of not know where to go or what support that they may need.
And so, what I'm hearing from you, from the statements that you've already mentioned, there's nothing in there about questioning them. Are you sure? How do you know? Is that right? Do we just go with it and basically have them figure it out on their own, just knowing that we're supporting them?
I think, there can be some exploration, but coming from a place of curiosity instead of, are you sure? Right? I think the are you sure gives this understanding of like, oh, well, I don't know. Like, I could be wrong about my identity and myself. Whereas, like, okay, well, if that's something you want to explore, can we explore that together? Can you explain that to me a little bit more as to why? I'd love to get to know your reasonings behind things. And that offers a space of openness for you both to just do some understanding.
Not every LGBTQ plus kid will need therapy right away, but for many, having that safe space to talk can truly be life changing. What should parents look for in a therapist or support system that affirms their child's identity? Are there any types of therapy or support groups that you've found can be particularly helpful?
Yeah, well, I think it's important that we acknowledge that, like, Something's only ever a problem if it's a problem. So now we do know, and we have information from a company, a site called the Trevor Project, who does a lot of research with LGBTQ youth. And their recent survey from 2024, they took a survey of like 18,000 folks, and it showed that 45% of trans and non-binary people reported that their family has considered moving to a different state because of the political climate. And 90% of queer and trans people said their well-being was negatively impacted due to recent politics. So like I bring out those numbers because it's important to know like just the climate that we're in could be reason enough for, if your kid comes out to you and is queer or trans, they might be interacting with certain people and in this political system that they just need support from someone who gets it. And so I think seeing a provider who on their profile says that they are queer, trans informed, I think is really, really important. And I also want to highlight that therapy can be for the parent too. Right. So, like, this is a huge transition for any family. It doesn't matter what the identity is, but having your child figure out who they are and having some independence in that, and that you might want your own therapy just to feel confident and comfortable to have someone to talk to as well.
I'm curious about parents who want to support and better understand their LGBTQ plus child. Where should they start? I'm sure that it's overwhelming.
Yeah, it is. It is. I hear a lot of parents, they come with good intentions. They're like, I don't want to get anything wrong. Like, I don't want to hurt my kiddo. I don't want to say the wrong thing. And there's something that I was told a long time ago that's really, really important, which is we are all allowed to speak in draft, meaning that, we're speaking the truth from the information we know at the time. And that can
Yeah.
change when we get more information. So one place to get more information is, I had mentioned the Trevor Project is a really great resource. Also, PFLAG. PFLAG has been around for forever, and it's specifically for parents of queer and trans folks. And they have a bunch of wonderful resources for families and how to talk to your kiddo and terminology because it's changing. And I think just finding your own support. So being in the Her Collective, right? Like talking to folks, talking to other parents, I think is also a really great resource.
I'm sure that there's a lot of other places that parents can go to find reliable, inclusive, and affirming information. Is social media a place that we can go for reliable information, or would you encourage us to stay more towards books and websites and the organizations you mentioned?
I think social media is for sure a good place to go to find support. Local PFLAG chapters usually have social media as well. The Human Resource Campaign, HRC, has social media that can help. The Strong Family Alliance. And then one particular, I think, for parents, it can be really hard to gather what is true news right now. What do I actually need to be concerned about in my state? And so there is social media, and this person called Aaron in the Morning. And I don't know if you've heard of them or not, but they're a wonderful human. And they kind of give information for trans and queer folks and the laws that are coming out and what we need to pay attention to. And there's a community around that as well. And so there are also communities for parents of queer and trans folks on Facebook and your local LGBTQ centers as well.
Such a powerful and important message always, but today especially. And I know that this will hit home for a lot of families and be helpful for so many. So thank you truly, Dr. Sam, for opening up and sharing your insights and wisdom with us. We do appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you both so much.